Hong Kong Direct is your weekly racing roundup full of news, views, previews, interviews and special guests. And coming up on the show today, Beauty Generation is back. First group races of the new season, the Celebration Cup. Beauty Generation has won the last 3 runnings, but he's got the Golden Boy from last season, unbeaten in 7 starts, including the Hong Kong BMW Derby, Golden 60 returns, and the National Day Cup. We follow up on Thursday with a day meeting here at Sha Tin, Computer Patch and Jolly Banner, who sprung a bit of a surprise down the straight at nearly 90 to 1 a season or so ago, back in action. I'm Andrew Jeune. Great to have your company for the show. Please say Graham Cunningham, Hong Kong Direct regular, joins us again. And Graham, we've already had a couple of very striking performances this season, but say some real big top liners back on the weekend. Yeah,
the stakes get really high on Sunday at Sha Tin for the Celebration Cup, and it is the Master Miler against the Golden Boy, but it's also one of the most seductive setups in sport. Is the ageing champ, the old king, going in against a young pretender who has that aura of stardom about him. And we have the added kicker this time that the old king has to give the young prince £18.
But it's not the first time he's faced this challenge either, Graham. Last year, Waikuku, I know he didn't win the Derby the previous year, but he was one of the star 4-year-olds. And the year before that, we had Pinghai Star, and he dealt with both of them. Yeah, to just look at Beauty Generation's record in this race. 3 years ago, he was the young up-and-coming horse. He only carried 113 pounds. 2 years ago, he gave the Derby winner Pinghai Star Windburn and 10 pounds. And last year, that defeat of Kying Star, Waikuku, Southern Legend, giving them lumps and lumps of weight. That is one of the greatest handicap performances in Hong Kong racing history. All right, we'll delve into it in a little bit more detail in a moment or so. Let's give you the full lineup, though, for Sunday's Group 3 contest. It is a handicap, so Beauty Generation, the 133 on his back, looking his 4th win in this race. Southern Legend, 4th last year. Kying Star, runner-up last year. Dancing with Dragon, the 2nd for Casper Fownes in the race. Golden 60, unbeaten in 7 starts last season. Then you've got Fast, Most Furious up a lightweight, Elusive State, Pressure Ship and Buddies. Much like Elusive State, maybe better known on the all-weather, but still deserving of their place in the field. Before we delve into the race ourselves in a little bit more detail, let's hear from 2 of the people closest to Beauty Generation, and that is Chief Work Rider, Romain Clavreul, and of course, big race jockey, Zac Purton.
Beauty Generation 150 out, Purton starts pushing, Beauty Generation starting to tire, but the champ is back in fine form.
Well, you're the guy who rides him most mornings now. Not every morning anymore, but most mornings now. What was your impression of the trial?
Well, I think he went pretty well. Like you say, he had a long time off this time.
I thought he went pretty well. Got to remember he's getting older now and he's had a little bit more time off. He didn't race right to the end of last season, so he's a little bit more ring rusty. And they went pretty quick. The pleasing part of his trial was the last bit and more so through the line. I've got to ride in the races twice a week, so I'm not silly enough to go in his box too often. I know what he's like, I know what his reputation's like, but you're with him every day.
Well, you give me a few stars, I can tell you that. I think you should come around and try to go in his box.
No, well, I know what his reputation is, so I'll leave that part to you.
Beauty Generation kept finding, pulling clear from Beat the Clock, then Conti and Ratton. It's another faultless display from Hong Kong's champion, and Beauty Generation by 2.
You know, my role is a bit unusual on race day because I do walk behind the gate. I just have to wait for you at the gate and see what the horse is feeling, is acting. And do you actually realize when I'm in a gate with you, you always say one thing to me is, give him a pat, give him a pat.
Yeah, well, you know him well and I know he knows you, and give him a pat. And it's about getting him to relax in the gates for me, because all the work has been done. I've got around there, you run over like a kitty in the candy store to grab him. It doesn't matter who's meant to lead him behind the gate. You're getting the elbows out, and you're first one to grab hold of him and to walk him around. And most of the time you get up in the gates with me. Yeah. So, you know, our job then is, he's pretty good in the gates, isn't he, as we know, but from time to time he gets a little bit edgy.
He can get a bit agitated sometimes.
So we've got to keep him nice and relaxed and make sure that he's focused for when the gate opens. It's impossible to choose one, but my favourite memory was his international mile win when he beat Viv Loss, and what was a pretty solid field that year. And
This is 100% pure Group 1 power. Beauty Generation 5 in front. Viv Lawson, Southern Legend. He is invincible, Beauty Generation.
he basically just destroyed them. He went straight to the front. For me, that's probably his standout performance. Well, what's been your favourite win?
Well, I like that win too, but for me, it's more the Group 2 he had on that 1600 when he broke the track record. I think the race didn't go to plan at all.
Beauty Generation, this powerhouse miler here in Hong Kong, laying out under pressure. 3 in front from Beauty Only and Southern Legend, and Beauty Generation gets it done.
He had to settle at the back, then he make a move early on to another front again, and he still won, even if he was hanging and break the track record. I think that was pretty impressive.
Phenomenal performance, but for me out there riding him at the time, it wasn't much fun, I tell you. Listen, champions do things that other horses can't. Let's just hope that he can. He looks good. To me, he still feels like he's got the will to want to do it. It's now David's job to be able to handle him. You know, we're looking to create history. He's looking for that elusive 19th win that no other horse in Hong Kong has had. So, for me, it's exciting. Let's hope we can get another international Group 1 with him.
Of course, Zac referring to David Hayes. This is the new angle in the whole partnership there, Graham. But great to hear from Romain and Zac in a casual sort of chat about the champ.
Yeah, that's a really nice piece. And it's revealing because with John Moore departed, these are the two guys who've had most to do with Beauty Generation over a 3-year period. And it's fascinating to hear from them. But since last season, Beauty Generation has turned 8. That's generally the time at which a really good horse's powers start to slowly wane. And no matter what he does in the mornings or in that trial that we saw, nothing can replicate the heat, the intensity of a world-class handicap like Sunday's Celebration Cup. And the answer to the question of does the fire still burn will only come when Zac says, let's roll about 350 metres out. It's a spellbinding prospect.
It certainly is. His course and distance record, though, has only been beaten once over the 1,400 metres. Fresh up, he's only been beaten once, and that actually coincided with that 1,400-metre defeat. That was his first ever start. So you could argue that he's at his, say, best, relatively speaking, in this race.
Yeah, sometimes if you keep it simple and just offer up those stats, you say, wow, this horse is a prime contender again. And don't forget that having dipped a little on the form scale in the second half of last season, he's on a rating on Sunday 7 pounds lower than when he won this race last year.
Yeah, if Kying Star finished second, he's going to have to be a stone better Kying Star if he's going to roll him. My Darling was the horse that beat him fresh up as well over the 1,400 metres. What about Golden 60 then back? What's your feeling about him in terms of his trial and all the work he's done in preparation for the weekend?
Well, I don't know whether you ever watched a great TV show called The Wire, but if you did, one of the great phrases from that show is, you come at the king, you best not miss. Well, you best not miss if you're getting 18 pounds. So if Golden 60 is to be a genuine Group 1 horse, international Group 1 horse this season, he needs to win and win well. I've nothing negative to say about Golden 60, but this is his first time in against the big boys. He does get the 18 pounds. His form is questionable in some ways. He beat an okay 4-year-old division and he beat them well. His run style doesn't lend itself to wide margin wins, but what his reputation is based on is striking closing splits. Right from day one, he is capable of uncoiling that turn of foot on a 22-second, sub-22-second closing split. The question is, can he uncoil the same sort of acceleration when Beauty Generation lays down that mid-race heat? That's the big question for Golden 60.
Yeah, and he's only been beaten once in his life so far, Golden 60. That was over 1,400 metres, but we wouldn't hold that against him. As far as his trials are concerned, Graham, very difficult to get a handle on where he's at because they've been, well, easy as you like. He hasn't done a tap, really. 2
trials, I think, both on the dirt, Andrew, and beaten well over 30 lengths combined. So they've been very, very gentle leg stretches. Recent gallop on the turf was perhaps more significant, but we have to judge Golden 60 on the afternoon evidence, not the morning evidence. He is a tremendously bright prospect, but he's in against the big boys for the first time. It's a different preparation. As you know, Andrew, Derby winners tend to come out quickly 4 weeks or so later at level weights against the cream of the crop, over 2,000 metres in the QE2 Cup. Francis Loy is plotting a different path, lengthy extended break into a Group 3 handicap and getting all that weight. It is clearly by far the most significant day in Golden 60's career, even though he is a Derby winner, testing himself against the best horse Hong Kong has seen for many moons, that is the acid test for him.
Yeah, we won't hear from Francis Lloyd, but we will hear from David Hayes, Beauty Generation's trainer, and also from Golden 60s jockey Vincent Ho.
Yeah, it felt great, working well. Last gallop felt good, and yeah, all normal, healthy.
The 2 trials that he's had, they've looked pretty quiet. Was that the plan?
Track condition wasn't as planned, and didn't want to force him too much with all the kickbacks and that. So wasn't as planned, but we gave him a grass gallop the last bit and had a really good blow, so that helps.
He should get a nice run. There's a little bit of speed and he'll be right on the speed, and he's healthy and well, and I'm very, very happy with him and looking forward to the challenge. And it's probably an advantage in distance for Beauty Generation, an advantage in weight for the young champion. So it'll be an interesting clash of the young and the old.
It certainly will be. Of the rest, Graham, we shouldn't ignore the Founds factor with Southern Legend and Dancing with Dragon. Casper Founds absolutely flying this season. But of the rest of the fields, there's some very, very nice horses looking off some very, very light weights.
Absolutely. And tactically, I think it has to be a truly run race. Chad Schofield has already said that he won't die wondering on Kying Star, proven front runner. Buddies is a proven front runner. I think it stacks up to be a truly run race. Beauty Generation to kick on 300 metres from home. But if it is a really strong gallop, keep an eye on Fast Most Furious. He really thrived in the closing weeks of last season. 7 furlongs, 1,400 metres, hard gallop is bang on for him. Minimum weight, Alexis Badel. If there is a party pooper, and in many ways as a purist, you hope there isn't, Fast Most Furious could be the one.
All right, so we'll finish the show with Beauty Generation winning last year's Celebration Cup. And in the part 2 of the show, we'll look ahead to the National Day Cup on Thursday as well. Still plenty more to come right after this. Welcome back to Hong Kong Direct. Special guest Graham Cunningham still with me. More from him very shortly. But Ed Sadler has more for us on the week ahead with the National Day Cup looming and more news around Hong Kong racing. Here's Ed.
Thank you, Andrew. Yes, the first group race for the season comes up on Sunday, the Group 3 Celebration Cup. We don't have to wait long for the next group race of the season. It's on Thursday, a public holiday here in Hong Kong, the Group 3 National Day Cup for the sprinters over 1,000 metres. And while the final field will be released in the early part of next week, here are the entries for the race. We've got a field of 7 at this stage to line up, with Wishful Thinker to carry the top weight in what will be his second run for Dennis Yip. Big Party's a talented but quirky sprinter. Jolly Banner, what a marvellous horse he has been through his career. Both he and Big Party are group race winners already down the straight. Computer Patch is a promising horse. Gold Chest has already won down the straight this season. Victorian was unlucky last time out. We'll see why in a moment. And Yi Chong Baby is interesting, having his first run for the Tony Millard stable. The key form race then for the National Day Cup comes from the opening day of the season, the traditional feature on that day, the Chief Executives Cup. And the horses to pay attention to: Victorian, who's out the back here. Wishful Thinker, who, as I mentioned before, will carry the top weight. We've also got Computer Patch, who is up on the speed in this event, and Jolly Banner out wider. So having a look at the concluding stages of this race then, Victorian was unlucky. As you can see, he was out the back. The reason he was there was he missed the start. So it was always going to be tricky for him from there, but he got home really strongly along the inside part of the track to run a placing in this race. He ended last season in really good form, and he'll have a lightweight in the National Day Cup. That is significant. Jolly Banner's effort was huge. He's an older horse, but he's still got it to compete at this level. He ran a really good second. He was stuck 3 wide throughout in that event. And the other horse I think to take out of that race is Computer Patch. With 200 metres left to go, as you would have seen there, he looked like he was going to go on and win the race, but he wasn't quite able to go on with it, particularly in the last 100 metres where he really peaked on his run. But he should benefit from that fitness-wise. He's only just turned 4 and looks a progressive type. He'll be ridden on Thursday by the Magic Man, Joe Moreira.
I think he's going to match the big guys. I think he's a up-and-coming horse. Last season he was only 3 and he was running against some really decent horses, and in some of the occasions he was able to win. So I actually have a good faith in him. I think his winning chance is quite high.
Joe won on Computer Patch last season when he was trained by John Moore. These days, with John having been retired, he's trained by Tony Cruz. One other horse I wanted to point out as having his first start for the season, and that is Big Party, the big grey galloper. Now, you know how much talent he's got, this horse. He is a very, very talented type. He's already a Group 3 winner down the straight of the Bohemia Sprint Trophy from last season. He had less weight to carry in that race, though, than what he will have to carry on Thursday. This is his latest trial, his only trial leading into this event. Zac Purton was on board. He settled in a handy position. As you can see, he had a pretty easy time of things over the concluding stages of the race. I think that he's the most talented horse lining up in the National Day Cup, but my knock on the horse is that he's never really produced his best when he's fresh. So I think that whatever he does on Thursday, he will be better off for going into the future. So for mine, my idea of the winner comes from the likes of Computer Patch, Jolly Banner, or the lightweight in Victorium. Those are the three that I'm most keen on in the event. So that's the National Day Cup. It comes up as the feature race on Thursday's National Day card. A bit of news, though, coming through the week, that we're going to have Tony Picone rejoining the jockeys' ranks here in Hong Kong. He had a 2-month stint earlier on in the year. In last season, he rode 8 winners during that time at a strike rate of just under 9%. He got off to a great start as well, too, with Charity Go at his first meeting, giving him a winner, which is so important here in Hong Kong. He's going to arrive to start riding here in October. It's a 4-month licence that he has been granted. That takes him up until the end of February. And just wrapping up the segment, we're coming towards the end of the first month of racing here in Hong Kong. Casper Fownes has started off in a blaze of glory. He leads the way on 9.5 wins. Of course, he got a dead heat on Wednesday night, so he leads the way in the trainer's title over Francis Loy. It's also been a great month for Joe Moreira. He leads the way on 15 wins in the Jockey's title as he pursues a 4th Jockey's Championship here in Hong Kong. But even the Brazilian knows that there's still a long way to go.
Yeah, it's all about the support, you know. I would be nobody if I didn't get support of good trainers that are winning races. And it's maybe get there in particular on the early stage of the season may not be the hardest. The hardest is just to stay there. We all know it, and I'm not expecting to be an easy season. I'm very committed. I'm going to be working very hard. And hopefully when we come to the end of the season, when I look back, and I'd be proud of myself of the hard work that I have put on.
Excellent proposal there. One of the exciting horses Joe associated with everyone being Skyfield, trained by Casper Fownes, of course. But let's concentrate on the National Day Cup for a second, Graham. Small field down the straight. What are your early thoughts? Best part of a week away still. Yeah, it's a good little analysis from Edward. He's right about Big Party. He's a very talented horse, but he doesn't always come to the party. He's had treatment on a bony fragment above his left zygomatic arch over the summer. Sounds painful, but he's a very, very talented horse. A very tightly knit group of horses from that Chief Executives Cup. Jolly Banner, Victorium, Computer Patch. I sense that Edward quite likes Computer Patch. Joe definitely does, and I think he's bound to run well. Proven over 1,000 metres and still progressive. Of course, Amazing Star came out of that Chief Executive Cup and won on Wednesday night at Happy Valley. Did it in good style as well. What about a horse like Yi Chong Baby? He looked early days like he had the world of his feet, but things seemingly went wrong. He's now been transferred to the stable of Tony Millard. Yeah, the ability's there, and we know how good Millard is with stable transfers. Keep an eye on him. Also, Gold Chest. Richard Gibson's done a really good job of steadily improving that horse, gradually bringing him back in distance. He didn't win by very far at Sha Tin first time out this season, but he did have to wait for a run. He's on the upgrade with a very lightweight, so it's a small field next Thursday, but they're pretty progressive horses overall, and you don't say this very often, there is some room at the top in the fabled Hong Kong sprint division. Mr. Stunning retired, Beat the Clock, some training problems, Thanks Forever retired, Etheros had a setback. The stage is set for some improving horses to win some big money this winter. Most certainly is. The other point that Ed brought up there was Tony Picone coming back. Had a great short stint here, and he's the first, but probably not the last European jockey I suggest we'll see for this season. No, watch the space, but December could get very interesting in that regard. As for Tony Picone, he had a really good stint last winter, and now he joins Antoine Hamelin and Alexis Bedell. So the race to do the Three Musketeers story is already underway. All right, let's have a look at what's happening then over the next week or so here in Hong Kong. As you've probably guessed by now, it's the first group race of the season. The Celebration Cup comes up as race number 8, 4:35 local, with Beauty Generation looking for its 4th. So no Wednesday racing for us at Happy Valley. It's Thursday day meeting at Sha Tin for the National Day Cup, a public holiday here, and then back again the following Sunday at Sha Tin. So Sha Tin, Sha Tin, Sha Tin for us over the next 7 or 8 days here in Hong Kong. So we started with the Celebration Cup, and that's what we'll finish with as well. It's a starting point for both Beauty Generation and Golden 60, but the seasons really, I suppose, we'll learn a lot about where they'll be going this season, you know, on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, it's going to shape the next few months in the 1400-mile division, and I think for many people, the ideal scenario would be another win for Beauty Generation, history maker, with Golden 60 charging home late, setting things up for a rematch. There's only one thing better than a top-quality heavyweight clash, and that is a heavyweight rematch, and that's what we might end up in races like the Sha Tin Trophy, Jockey Club Mile, Longines Hong Kong Mile in December. So it's the starting point, but it's a very, very compelling starting point this Sunday.
It certainly is. Can't wait for that. Enjoy the action on Sunday, Graham, and thanks as always for your contribution today.
My pleasure.
All right, so that's the show. Thanks for watching. We're going to leave you this week then with Beauty Generation in last year's Celebration Cup, completing the hat-trick. Can he make it 4 on Sunday? We will find out in due course. But hopefully you can join us again on Sunday. We'll bring all the action from Hong Kong direct to you.
Beauty Generation, Purton pours the pressure out into Kaying Star, and the champ rolls on. Beauty Generation a length and a half. Cruise mode at the moment from Kaying Star, Furore. White Cuckoo's revving up late, then Southern Legend. Beauty Generation 150 out. Purton starts pushing. White Cuckoo's running on. Kaying Star, but Beauty Generation starting to tire, but the champ is back in fine form. And Beauty Generation 10 in a row.